Welcome, insurance brokers. It is a pleasure to be with you all today in this live actually, this is live number 3. If you're following me since live number 1, I want you to smash that like button right now. Tell me here in the comments, send me a chat message here. I'm going to reply here. It's great to see that we're building this community here. We're building a tribe of insurance brokers that are going to write at least 30 policies in 30 days with the help of digital marketing techniques that you're going to build on your own. You don't have to rely on agencies, on freelancers. You're going to build a muscle. You're going to build a muscle. The most important asset that I believe that anybody can have right now in this world is the ability to sell online. And that's what we're creating here. I'm happy to be with you. It is a beautiful Wednesday and a perfect time for us to begin your journey. Actually, it's funny that I use the word begin because the topic that I choose for today's presentation is going to be the fundamentals. So welcome to live number 3. Every week I'm here giving you one strategy from beginning to the end that you can implement that is going to attract more and more insurance leads for you. If you're new to this channel and you think that who is this crazy guy, my name is Ed Cortez, and I help insurance brokers with this world, with this online world of the internet. And what I do is I come here every Wednesday at noon CST live, that you can come here and chat with me and we can interact. And then we're going to take you to whatever stage you are in your digital maturity to a point where you can write policies every day. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel. That is the only way that I can see that I'm giving you value, that I'm generating content that is making a difference from you. And just that simple gesture, it doesn't cost you anything. You just subscribe to my channel. It's going to mean a lot to me, but more than that, it's going to allow you to receive notifications every time that I go live. My plan is that we're going to grow this. I'm hoping to bring insurance brokers live and give online mentoring to them and really help them get out of the madness that is cold calling, cold emailing. That just doesn't make any sense. By the way, I've been there. If you don't know a little bit about me and my journey, even though I'm not an insurance broker, and I'll explain how I came to this industry, I have always been selling. As a matter of fact, let me tell you a funny story. I was 13 years old when my dad took me to a sales conference. And I remember as it was just yesterday. The speaker was a guy called Cadillac Jack, and he was supposed to be one of the greatest car salesmen in the US, and he was giving all those sales techniques. Anyway, so it started there. Ever since I had that contact with sales techniques and selling, I have never went to the bright side of the world. I always stayed in sales, but I have always used those obsolete sales techniques, probably the ones that you use, like cold calling, cold emailing, using cold lists and buying leads. And I was selling all types of products and services until one day it hit me. I was cold calling. I remember I was with someone on the phone begging, really begging for that person to meet with me. It was the end of the month. I had goals and I have quotas and I needed that meeting. and I was begging just for that person. It was an IT company. I was trying to sell something for them, service for them, and then my son at that time, he was maybe 2.5, 3. He came and he looked at me, and he had his dinosaur. He had a toy that he just loved, and he was a little bit slow in speaking, so he was just mumbling and just telling me with his own gestures that he wanted to play. And I just nodded and I said, "No, I can't." And I continued with the begging on the phone, and it hit me. Those sales techniques were putting a high price on my time. And then I decided to investigate, to study what were the companies that were leading in terms of sales. What were they doing? What were companies that had B2B, business to business sales, or B2C transactions? What were they doing exactly? So in that journey, I joined a company that was doing that for basically 20 years, providing those services for other companies for over 20 years. And along with that company and my own personal study and dedication, I started to see that once you put pieces of the puzzle in a specific order, you start to get an inflow. You start to receive leads as opposed to chasing them. You start to receive requests as opposed to going after them. So I started to see that there was a process to the madness. And in that journey, I started to implement that process as a consultant to companies like Hyundai, Jeep, and chocolate companies and all types of companies. But one day, and they were selling like crazy. They were franchise companies. They were implementing this method and selling. But one day, one insurance broker called me and cold called me and offered life insurance to me. And I said, "Look, no, I don't need to apologize for that. But do you do this often? Do you rely on cold calling?" And yeah, she said yes. And I decided to help her. So I started to implement that same method in her business, and it worked. And she referred me to other insurance brokers, and it worked to all of them. And right now, I have over 1,000 insurance brokers that are implementing this method and thriving. In this part of my life, I realized that it was one thing to make a company like Jeep or Hyundai to sell more cars. It was a complete different story when I was helping a person, a specific person with a name, with a family, to increase the family revenue, to increase to have more money. It was something that I felt deep in my heart, way more grateful. That's when I decided to dedicate my time to sharing this knowledge. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here today with you. So happy to be here. And in this journey, I learned 4 basic principles. They are the stepping stones, one after the other, that you need to know, you need to really get inside you to succeed in your online journey. And you see, I've seen insurance brokers try this online thing and fail, and I've seen insurance brokers do this online thing and write multiple policies per day constantly. And do you know what the difference is? I'll tell you what that is. Those 4 principles, 4 guiding stars that you need to know. And the first one, actually, I have something fancy here for you. Look at that. The first one is done is better than perfect. Look, I'm an engineer. And I try, it is in my blood and in my education to try to be perfect. But every day that I am online and doing things, I have to remember this principle. Done is better than perfect. And the thing is, there's no right or wrong. There's only one thing in the internet, which is the battlefield. The battlefield. And no plan resists the battlefield. You can have tables, and you can have plans, and you can have business plans and marketing plans, but it will never be perfect. No matter how much time you spend on it, once you go and you deploy that plan, it is prone to fail. And you never know. You never know. It can work or it can't work. You will never know unless you go to the battlefield. So the first principle is do. If you're the message that I want you to have by watching this video is just go and do. Chances are that you're going to learn. I guarantee that the only thing that can happen if you go and you execute a strategy is that you will learn, and that's priceless. So here's the beauty of digital marketing. It gives you instant feedback. Not sure how old you are, but I've come from a generation that read magazines, that saw printed ads. And I bought ad space in magazines in my previous life. And I remember it was hard. We had to design the ad, and we had to think, will this sell? And then we had to send it to the editor, and then they would print and send us for approval. We had to sign, and then it was a big responsibility, because what if that ad didn't perform? You were running national ads, and there was a big chance that it was not going to be the right message. You would never know. One, because it was not traceable. There was no way of knowing. And two, if it didn't work, you couldn't do anything. You had to wait for the next month's edition of that magazine to do it all over again. That's not the way that digital marketing works. You can literally do one ad today. And in live number 1, it's still in my YouTube channel. I show you how to do a YouTube ad. You can do that in as little as 30 minutes, run it for 24 hours and see if it works. And if it didn't work, you will know exactly why. Was the message, was the placement, was the targeting? You will know. You just have to watch the right indicator, the right metric. Now, if you're beginning and this is digital marketing 101, you probably don't know which indicator to watch, and that's fine. Remember when you drove for the first time and you had all the gauges and you have the panel and you didn't know what to do? And if someone came to you and said, do we have enough gas to go to our destination? You wouldn't know which gauge to answer, and that's normal. But you only learn by traveling, by doing, by sitting in the driver's wheel and doing it. So the first principle is done is better than perfect. If that makes sense, give me a thumbs up here, that I will know that it is making sense for you. So the next one, and that goes together with the first one. So the first one is done is better than perfect. The next one is first do, then improve. Now, they go together because you first have to do something. If you want to sell auto insurance, if you want to sell home insurance, life insurance, it doesn't, health plan, it doesn't matter. You have to pick one strategy, and I'm going to help you with that today. But you have to do. However, you can't just do it and leave it alone. There's no set and forget. You can't set a campaign, a strategy, and forget about it. That's one thing that I learned from one of my business mentors. There's no set and forget. Now, what do you do then? You try to improve 1% each day. There's a phenomenal book. I highly recommend. It's called, let me put here in the chat so you see that I'm here. It's called Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits. And They explain how you can commit to building a habit or leave a bad habit. Now, the thing is, you have to pick one thing that you want to do, and then you try to make incremental changes that are going to make just a tiny difference every day. For instance, if you want to read 12 books in 12 months, you start with reading each day one page. That's one tiny increment. The next day, read 2 pages. And before you know it, you will be reading 12 books in 12 months. Now, it's the same thing with writing 30 policies in 30 days. You have to start by doing what is the tiny step that you can do right now that is going to take you one step closer to that goal. So you first do, and then you improve. How can you improve? You can write better ads. So if you're doing, let's go with the most basic strategy that there is, which is running Google Ads, paid search ads. The most basic strategy. What can you do? First step, you create your campaign, right? But you don't have to worry about competition and the budgets that other advertisers are going to be there. If that's a strategy that you want to pick, you start by doing it, by going to the battlefield. Then, in the next day, you can improve it by 1%. How? Write one more ad. That's it, one more ad. What can you do in the following day? You can improve your targeting. How? Adding negative keywords. How can you improve in the next day? Watching your bids or seeing if you can concentrate your budget in specific hours of the day. So you see, that's just one way of picking one strategy that's one of the paths that's going to take you to writing 30 policies in 30 days. Now, you can never be the smartest person on the table. Here, this changed the whole thing for me. My digital game changed when I stopped being the smartest person in the table. And what was that? I used to be in meetings and be the person that someone would ask about digital marketing. I used to be that person. Then I started to force myself to sit in mentoring groups, to join groups where I was the stupidest person in the table. I didn't even understand what they were doing. So just the fact that you're here is a great compliment to you, because probably I'm telling you things that right now are too complicated, or maybe they are going to make sense in a few days. But the fact that you are here means that you are going to improve. And then you have to always go to another table and another table and never be the smartest person on the table. Now, this is going to take me to my next principle number 3, which is once you begin, you don't stop. You see, there are far more people that give up than people that fail. This is so important that I'm going to write it here. So what happened here? Disable camera, sorry, live. All right, so there are far more people that give up than people that fail. Do you know who said that? It was Henry Ford. And I'll tell you that. It will not be an easy journey. I apologize for being honest here, but there's no silver bullet. Chances are that you are an insurance broker and you want to succeed online, but it's not something that is going to happen overnight. And as a matter of fact, it will get worse before it gets better. And then it's going to be up to you to be committed, or are you going to chase convenience? If you choose to be committed, you're committed to writing 30 policies in 30 days with leads that you generated. I guarantee that is going to pay off for you. In the long term, you're going to be the one standing. Whereas the insurance broker that chose the convenient path, that bought leads, that outsourced to their marketing efforts, that is a short vision. That person is not building a business, a brokerage business. If you're committed, if you're doing this every day, like it or not, then you're going to succeed. And it won't be easy, but it will be worth it. It is like learning a new language. If you want to go and sell online and attract leads, you have to learn how it works. And there are many variables here. We're dealing with people. We're dealing with sentiments. We're dealing with mental triggers. There's a lot going on, and you will have to learn all that. But once you learn, that's it. You will be able to sell anything online. Now, here's the other thing. You can't beat someone that doesn't give up. You simply can't. So if you're committed, if you're going to do it, it doesn't matter the strategy that you pick. For instance, if you want to pick a strategy of generating leads through content, it means that you have to produce content. If you produce content consistently, every week, every day, doesn't matter. But if you do it in the long term, you're going to win. Now, so that's once you begin, you don't stop. And then the last principle, number 4, is focus on what you can control. You see, I'd like to say that I personally know at least 22 strategies that are going to take you from 0 policies that you're writing online, so going from scratch to 30 in 30. I know at least 22 strategies, and there are more that I'm testing, that I'm evaluating, but I have documented 22. Now, you don't have to be good at all of them. You just need one. Every strategy that I know, they're going to write 30 policies in 30 days. And once you do that, then you can then it means that you mastered and you can move on to the next strategy. So how do you pick a strategy? Well, the first thing is to think, where are you good at? For instance, there are strategies that requires you to record videos. For instance, I gave you in live number 1 a strategy for how to do YouTube ads. Well, YouTube is a platform that requires ads to be recorded on video. So if you're shy, if for some reason you don't want to record videos, then that's a strategy that naturally you won't pick. However, I'm not forcing anyone to be good at videos. There are multiple other strategies. For instance, another one that is extremely simple is Google paid search with Google Ads. Now, what if you don't want to invest? And that's fine. Maybe you don't want to pay for ads. I know at least, I could say at least 5 other strategies that don't require a cent, a dime of investment. You could do social selling. You could do LinkedIn prospecting. You could plug in an automation tool on LinkedIn and do it. If you want to invest just a little bit, you can go with Sales Navigator. Anyway, so there are multiple strategies. I could go on, and that's what I do in these lives anyway. I pick one strategy and I share with you. Now, the other question is, do you have a book of business? If you already have a book of business, then this opens a whole array of strategies that you can implement in your book of business to sell more. If you sell multiple insurance products, of course. The other thing is, do you want to sell to in-market shoppers, insurance shoppers, meaning people that already decided that they want to buy any type of insurance product? Or do you want to convince someone that is not actively researching, and you're going to be the person that is going to take them down a funnel, down a path, and convince them to buy from you. So depending on how you answer those questions, you're naturally going to go into a path, a specific path that is going to allow you to write policies every day. Now it comes to the point of, so you see, those are the 4 principles. Done is better than perfect. Once you begin, don't stop. First do, then improve, and then focus on what you can control. So what do I want to do now with you is explain how do you start. If you're like this, well, I don't know, do I need a website? Where do I begin? Do I go on Instagram? Do I go on LinkedIn? You're talking about YouTube. I'm lost. I don't know where to start. So I'm going to share with you right now a tool. And this tool, you might be familiar with that. It is used on other applications. But I see it as the perfect tool to get you from zero to action. And that tool is called 5Ws, 2 H's. So let me share my screen here so you can see how it works. All right, so how do I do this? Minimize, like this. All right, so 5Ws, 2 H's. And the 5 W's are what? Who, why, where, when, and the 2 H's are how and how much. So let me explain you how this works. So you're going to begin, and you can take a screenshot here. This is a fairly simple table you can do on Google Sheets, on Excel. And all you have to do is this, and then understand what to write in each of the columns. So the what is where you're going to write the product that you want to sell. Now, this has to be a SMART goal, meaning that it has to be specific. It has to be, for instance, I want to sell 5 life insurances by today until the end of the year. And this has to be measurable. For instance, 5 is 5. You can look at the policies and you can count. And if it is 5, it's 5. 6 is not 5, 4 is not 5. So it's measurable. It is actionable, meaning that you can do it. If you don't know how to sell D&O insurance, for instance, then you can't action on this goal. So it has to be actionable. It has to be realistic. If you have never sold one cyber insurance, then going from 0 to 5 could be unrealistic. So it has to be realistic. And it has to be time bound, meaning that you have a date to begin, a date to review if you met the goal, and that's what you're going to write here. So your SMART goal is going to be this. My goal is to write 5 policies, life insurance policies, or you name it. So you get what the what is. Now the who is going to buy. This is your ideal client profile. And the more specific you can be, the better. Now you don't have to be ultra specific, like I want to sell to males that are into mountain bikes and they live in the greater Seattle area. Now you don't have to be that specific, but maybe a age bracket, so or a sex, male, female. Don't have to be narrowing down to religion. Just try to be specific in a way that you can call that attention of that person to you, okay? So the who is really your ideal client profile. Now the why. Why are they going to buy? And you see, selling insurance is well, except for auto insurance maybe, it is normally people don't wake up and say, wow, today it's a beautiful day to get me a life insurance. It doesn't happen like that. So you have to sell the transformation. You deliver the insurance product, but you sell the transformation. Okay, so why are they going to buy? So you have to think about the products that you want to sell, and then realize what pain that insurance product is going to take away. Okay, so then you write the why, and the reason why you have to do this is because that's where your message, your ad, is going to be. Okay, we're going to derive it from the why. Now the where. Once you know who is going to buy from you, you have to find where they are. So if you're trying to sell something to doctors, where are they? Which videos are they watching on YouTube? Which channels do they subscribe? And the reason why you need to know where they are is because you have to be there. That's where you're going to be present, and that's where they're going to notice you. So you need to know where you're, and I'm going to use air quotes here. You have to know where your prey is, because if you want to hunt, you need to go to where your prey is. Okay, and then when. The when is, you need to define if you're going to sell to someone that have already made up their mind that they want to buy, or do you want to persuade them? Meaning you need a funnel. You need to attract them. You need to convince. You need to be following up. There's a longer sales journey. So you have to define which one you want to play with. And then the how is the strategy. So once you have all of those columns filled, you will pick a strategy. Like I said, there are at least 22 strategies that you can pick. Ones that require videos, the ones that require investment, the ones that requires a book of business. So you're going to pick a strategy. And then the last one is how much. How much do you want to invest? Now, here's the thing. It is easy to set, and the how much could be $0. However, it's easy to set a budget. Once you know that you want to sell a number, let's say it's 5 policies, and you know the commission that you're going to get, then you just multiply the commission by 5, and you will know the total revenue, the total commission that you're going to get. Then I recommend that you set a percentage of that commission, that future commission that you're going to sell, as your marketing budget. And that could vary between 5 and 30%, depends how aggressive you want to be. So that way you will know exactly if you have a budget, if you don't have a budget. And if you have a budget, you can pick certain strategies. If you don't have a budget, you can pick other strategies. All right? So here's my proposal for you. We're in this to keep moving, right? And what is going to take you? Let me stop my screen share real quick here. Right. So what is going to take you from a place that you don't know where to start to a place where we're both high-fiving each other and celebrating each policy that you wrote? What is going to make that transition is going to be movement, meaning you have to take one step at a time. So my proposal to you is, you now have the 5 W's, 2 H's. That's a tool that is going to allow you to take the first step. You also know the 4 principles. Hopefully you wrote those down somewhere. Hey, here's what I do. I do Post-its, and I have my 4 principles right here in my screen. And here's my proposal. Step number 1, write those 4 principles in a Post-it. Place it somewhere that you can constantly see and really internalize. Then step number 2, do your 5 W's, 2 H's. Do that before our next live, which is going to be next Wednesday at noon. right? So I'm going to be with you, and then I'm going to share another strategy. So I'm going to share with you another way that you can implement and really go to the battlefield. That's the next step that we have. If you are going to be with me next Wednesday, hit the like button so I know that we're on the same path, that we're going to be together in this. And leave a comment here in this video, because I'm reading all of the comments and I'm replying. So let's keep in touch, and I'm going to see you next Wednesday. Bye.